Welcome to our Grace Family Advent moment. This is a time for you to slow down, reflect, and focus on the true meaning of this season. This week, our focus is hope.
This week, as we're talking about hope, one of our scriptures today comes from the book of Isaiah, chapter 64, verses 3 through 4, which says this: "When you did awesome things that we did not look for, you came down. The mountains quaked at your presence. From of old no one has heard or perceived by the ear, no eye has seen a God besides you, who acts for those who wait for him."
Christmas is a holiday anticipated by kids and adults alike. But before that exciting day, Christians observe the 4 weeks of Advent to remind them what this season is really about. Have you ever hoped for something? Dictionary.com defines hope as a feeling of expectation and wanting something to happen. People are always looking for hope. This year especially, people are looking for something good to happen. But the Bible's definition of hope is different from ours. Biblical hope is having confidence that God will fulfill his promises. Do you remember the Genesis story of Adam and Eve? How their sin separated them from God? He wanted to be close to the people that he created. Luckily for us, God had already known that we would mess up, so he put a plan in motion to save us. He began to tell the prophets of the Old Testament that he would one day send someone who would make it possible for God and his people to have a relationship again. He was going to send a Redeemer, someone to restore our brokenness and take our sin away. As people read what the Old Testament prophets wrote, they started hoping for the Savior. They weren't sure of how God's plan would unfold, but they had hope that God would fulfill his promise. And sure enough, God sent Jesus to earth to offer restoration to the world. Through his birth, death, and resurrection, we have salvation. But before Jesus ascended to heaven, he promised to return again to make all things new. This is our biblical hope. Sometimes we have to look backwards to see forwards. That sounds funny, doesn't it? But sometimes, in order to restore something, we have to remember what it was like before. We have the Bible to show us what it was like before Jesus, what it was like when Jesus was on earth, and how we can look forward with hope to when Jesus comes back again. This is the reason we celebrate Christmas.
This week, we light the hope candle. As we focus on that, I invite you to reflect on this question: how can you focus on hope this week in the midst of your current reality?